What's up, Juventini? Alberto here. Got all your Juventus news. All right. Sport makes a big claim about what's going down this summer at Juventus. We'll take a look at the details there. And another young gun set to sign for Juventus. All right. Another Joya. We'll talk about that. And then Chiesa, the latest to get hit with the media effect, as he is set to miss altogether the match against Empoli. We'll take a look at that. And Thiago finally introduced to Juventini through his presser today. We'll take a look at what he had to say. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. This is the AJC. Let's rock. First things first, Felipe Anderson reported to be done at Lazio. Lazio no longer pursuit of this renewal. All right. It has been reported by several outlets that he has an agreement for €4 million salary at Juventus, and we just wait and see if that comes to fruition this summer. But that's the latest on Anderson. Sport making a big claim, saying that Koopmeiners 100% is the guy Juventus is going in on this summer for 40 to 45 million euros, and they said the funds will come from two sales. Number one, Artur. This number two one is Sulley. All right, so here we go with Artur. Number one, he's put together a strong season for him. This bodes well for Juventus. We've heard the rumblings that Fiorentina is not going to step up to the plate with the fee that it's going to take to make that final, but they might have no choice. And will they run the risk of letting him go when he's integrated so well and doing good things there? We have to wait and see. But if not them, maybe with this strong showing from Artur, we can finally make a deal. As far as how much capital is going to go there, I'm not going to hold my breath because of the numbers Artur stands us. All right, now, as far as it goes with Sulley, it's being reported that Prem teams are interested. All right, €30 million valuation, which could go up by season's end. For me, if it's a Premier League, you hit them hard for a fee, all right? His standard fee, as it stands, should be €40 million. We have paid that previously with Bernardeschi, with Kulusevski, highly touted young players. That seems to be a staple price tag, all right? I believe Dybala was around that, or just shy of the 40 million mark as well. Sulley should be minimum €40 million for me. And if Prem clubs come in, it should be higher, okay? That's how I feel. But we have to wait and see what develops. As far as Koopmeiners, is he going to be the number one target for Juve? Time will tell. Let's see. I still say this, and many of you seen the YouTube short I did on it, but there are two wild cards that have to be dealt with before Juventus acts, and that's why I wasn't buying into this rumor that Juve was all of a sudden going to splash 40 million this winter mercato on Koopmeiners. Stranger things have happened, but I highly doubt it. Paul Pogba is one of those wild cards. We have to wait till mid-February to figure out what Juve's options are there. Will Paul Pogba get back into play for the last part of this season? Will he be willing to take a pay cut based on how much of a nightmare this return has been? Is Juve willing to work with that and even take that pay cut if the rights to terminate are there? And you still, on top of all of this, have a player that you can't trust his physical fitness and body. Are the Saudi Arabian offers still going to be there for Pogba? Will Juve sell? That is one of the wild cards. The other is Adrien Rabiot. Is he going to be willing to take a pay cut? Which teams are coming in to be interested in him? If Man United is still the biggest one and making the biggest push, is the grass going to be greener on the other side? Those two wild cards have to be dealt with first for Juventus, I feel, before we get into the midfield options, unless there is a cheap, inexpensive opportunity that arises. Let's wait and see what happens, all right? But those are the two wild cards. Now we get to the next Joya, another young gun set to join Juventus, and this one is Francisco Barido, the 14-year-old from the Boca Juniors youth sector, all right, is set to join Juventus. This has no transfer fee to it. He is highly touted, the best one of last year's youth side at Boca, and he is said to have excellent technique, be an excellent dribbler, and a set piece specialist. The reason Juve has been able to land this player is because his parents have decided to reside in Italy. This is a big one for Juventus that could pay dividends. We've seen Barnechea, we've seen Sulley. Now all of a sudden we got the next Joya, all right? Let's see what happens with this one, but it is already in the final stages and set to be finalized over the next few days, all right? So Francisco Barido, we may be set to say welcome to Juventus. Federico Chiesa, he will miss the Empoli match altogether. Media jumping on this one, of course, as all eyes are on Chiesa with the contract extension. Obviously, the performances, the stats, everything. It all just seems way too familiar, doesn't it? Kind of like what we went through with Paulo Dybala. But I do not feel that Chiesa's injury woes have gotten to the point of Paulo Dybala's, all right? Because this latest one was a knock in training that he's trying to get over. So I have less concerns about that type of injury, obviously. Now, as far as Chiesa goes, he's also probably held back precautionary because it is Empoli, no disrespect to them. And then you have the big one against Inter, all right? Rabiot also going to be kept out of the starting lineup against Empoli because of eyes on the Inter game. But it does have to be said, Yildiz has been putting in good showings. Will he start against Inter? That would be a massive test. Do we save Chiesa? Bring him on against tired legs against Inter. The options are going to be there, and it is definitely going to be a discussion as we lead into that massive Derby d'Italia. And I am happy to tell you we have a new show Wednesday, January 31st premiering, which will be in the lead up to that Derby d'Italia, and it is going to be a fun look at that derby you're not going to want to miss, as I'm excited for the special guest that's joining me. All right, so stay tuned for that one. It'll be Wednesday, January 31st, live at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, all right? A West Coast late night show, all right? Can't wait for that one. Now, last, certainly not least, Thiago Giallo introduced to Juventini today, his presser, and he had all the right things to say. Happy to join Juventus. Grateful for the opportunity that Juventus has given him. Excited to play with this club that has a lot of quality in it. They're in good form, and he can't wait, and he likes the way Juventus plays. He appreciates the comparisons to Tomori, but says we are completely different players. Always looked up to Lilian Thuram, ex-Juventus player, all right, and a great one at that. He says his knee is fine. Physically, he feels good and he is excited, all right. He did train with the group today. As far as the return time goes, unknown, as he hasn't played since March. But hey, he's feeling good. He's excited. I am excited to see Giallo play. He will wear the number 33. When asked about that, said simply, I wore 3 at Lille. Bremer has 3 here. I added a 3. But maybe it's just to put a little more salt in the wound of Bernardeschi, who still lingers around potentially as a late option for Juventus. Can't get that 33 anymore, Berna. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? We'll see. There are also rumors linking Bernardeschi to Lazio. Let's see what goes down. But that's your news break to today, everybody. Let me know what you think about the news. Do you believe Koopmeiners is 100% the play for Juve? How do you feel about the next Joya being labeled as Francisco Barido? We continue to stockpile young talent, all right? And Thiago Giallo, you excited? And how do you feel about this Chiesa situation? Just media effect? Or are your concerns increasing? And do you think we need to move on? Can't wait to mix it up with you all, and I'll be back tomorrow for another daily update. As always, fino alla fine, forza Juventus. Ciao tutti.